Okay, I'm shooting a video of how to do tires today. First, well, you grab a tire, drop it off. Using the valve core, gonna evacuate all the airs inside. Take out the valve core. It should start to have air leaking, but this one has air already out, so you don't feel anything. The valve is out. Sometimes I just leave the valve right here. When the airs are out, well, we can push these things out a bit. Okay. Things to pay attention first is look at where your valve is. If your valve's here, have a valve sensor, like tire sensor behind it, you push onto it, very likely you're gonna damage this TPMS sensor. So when you pop the tires, keep this valve either on the very top or on the very bottom, so it's away from when it's doing it. Okay. Hopefully I still have enough air to finish this job. Then pressing on the first one. Good. Pop the one side and flip it. Now the valve is in the bottom. Pop the other side by stepping on the first pedal. Well, if it's stuck, pop it up. I have to use my just going upwards. Here we go. One side is the bead is already broken. Repeat the same thing for the other side. Also, make sure you know this valve stem is out of the way when it's breaking the beads. Sometimes they're really stubborn. You have to do multiple times. You have to do little by little. There we go. That one's done. Always be mindful where the valve is. So this way, the valve is here. It's not going to damage it. Good. Now I'm going to over rotate it. Now the valve is in the bottom. Okay, this side is down. Now next, when this tire is on the machine, this valve stem always need to be at 1 o'clock. Because when this arm comes down, start to pull up the tire, it's gonna start going this way. It'll come back in the very last spot. So that's unlikely to damage the valve stem. So make sure, or damage the TPM sensor. Make sure that's at 1 o'clock. Next one, step onto the second pedal. It's going to grab the wheel. And, well, we'll have to bring this guy down. Second pedal, on the pedal on the left, slowly bring the arm back down. Release it, bring this thing down. I saw it's already being replaced. Good. Okay, when you go up there, now press on this yellow button. Okay, you can see it actually creates a very tiny gap. That's what's supposed to be do. Next thing you need is you actually want to lubricate this inside. And this bucket is empty, so we need to pour in some lubricant. Look up on there. I think this is the guy. So this is a mounting lubricant. So let me open it up. I'm not too sure what's in there anymore. Okay, so I just opened the bottle. Let's pour some into it. You just pour half of it and then water down the other half. Okay. This actually was a little, here we go, it's kind of gooey inside because there's supposed to be lubricant, that's why it's gooey. Now we just need to add some water into it. Okay, I add some water into it. Now it's a little gooey and sticky. Perfect, that's what we needed. because sometimes we don't do tire for a while, then it becomes super dry and we just don't have it anymore. So let's put this one down, bring this arm down. Okay, you're supposed to want this tire to go up and catch the lip. So I'm going to grab this handle using this side, pop in, give a yank. Here we go. It's in now. Well, shouldn't put your finger in there because that's dangerous. When you flip the switch go up, make sure you press this one down, or I can put this thing down there. So it's going down, and I'm going to turn the switch up. Here we go. Because I want to make sure it doesn't bring this tire back onto the beads. Now we have a pretty good location there. Oops, I forgot a very important thing here. Lubricant. We should always lube it. So I just bring this brush around there, also on the tabs. Go around half the tire. Bring it back up, press it down at the same time. Here we go. You can see the tire's being brought up above. Now start to press on the far right button. That's going to turn the wheel. As you see, the whole thing starts turning beautifully. And then remember, always bring the valve stem at 1 o'clock. So past this thing. No, now the tire's up. Sometimes the tires are so stubborn, it's stuck in the bottom. You have to take it off the machine from here and break the beads again using this the big shovel here. But we're lucky we got this one done here. So again, bring this town to the bottom. And now want this town to catch the other side of the lip, which is the lower lip. Let me see if I can show it here. Oh. Okay. Don't know if you can see it, but you can feel with a finger that it's the lower lip is in the bottom. So I can hold up a tiny bit and flip the switch up. Okay, and you can see from the gap, it's already created a gap here, preventing it from sliding down, because it happens sometime, not always, sometime. To prevent that, I can use this tool, just go into the gap, and then again pressing on the switch to start rotating. Here you go. Tires off. Let go of the arm. Take off the old tire. This is the time you can start to inspect, see how much of a rust buildup or corrosion buildup, which is going to affect your sealing, because seal is happening on this edge, and sometimes too much of corrosion on this surface, it gonna affect your seal and like sealing quality of the wheel. So we can, if we have a lot of corrosion buildup, we can just grind that part down using a grinder, a wire wheel. Where's my wire wheel? Oh, here. So here's my wire wheel. Just hook up to one of the holes and you can start give a run on the lower beads or upper beads. Just polish the metals here. Okay, now to mount the tire. Make sure before you start, you have this valve on the lower half, somewhere in this range. That's what I found it would work. Okay, you bring your new tire up, assuming this is the new one. I'm going to, and make sure you're gonna look around, looking for, well, you make sure the tire size is the same as the old tire. That's very important. We have customers bring the two different sizes before. And also we have to see some of the tire has saying like outside, inside, and that would tell you, especially the asymmetric ones. This one's symmetric, so it doesn't matter. But for those asymmetric ones, they'll specify which one's for the inside and which one for the outside. And usually it's marked on the wall. And also you need to ask customer if they want the white wall or the black wall. White wall will be, you have some of the lettering, like this one, the thing, and all the brand names and all the products is actually in black. Some of them are actually in white. If they do want those white ones facing out, that's called the white wall. So they want the white wall facing out, that'll be the white color words facing upwards. If it's the other way, then just go as verse. So now, okay, we're coming down here. This would be the sealant. I mean, this is the one to use for when you're mounting the tire. Okay, grab the brush, give some brush around the beads. Okay, then do that again on the other side. Okay, that looks pretty good. All right, I just put this one back there. Close the lid. I used to have a better way to do it. And this thing should always go on to the hole here. Okay, so this is the worn out the tire. Like you can see here, it's pretty much flat. But just for the demonstration purpose, I'm gonna put it back on. All right. When you put it on, give an angle and bring the arms down. Here is the trick when you're mounting it. So you need to make it catch the lip right on there. You want it to sit right on there. Okay, as you can see, it's actually catching right on the lip right there. And it's okay to have a big leaning angles. If you can see, I'm having a big leaning angles. And guess what happens? You can start to turn it. Here we go, it popped. Amazing, huh? Okay, doing the second beads, most of the time I want to see my valve facing on the right side. Well, I think anywhere in this range will be okay because it's going through there, and by the time the arm hitting the valve area, it's already been sealed. Again, you're gonna be using, the tire should be underneath this big tongue, but on top of the lip. So sometimes a little bit tricky. And the way to make it happen, sometimes you need an additional arm. Where's the additional arm came from? Which is right here. Here's my additional arm. You always need that when you're mounting a low profile tire. Okay. All right, so you can see this is pressing the tire down. Keep the lip underneath the big tongue. And unfortunately, this tire went down as well, so I need to bring this one above. Okay, it's always tricky to make that happen. All right. To make that help you more, oh, also, I made it too low. In order to make the tire seal, you need to have this thing pressing the tire down. And keep this thing, the handle on the edge of it, like on the outside edge, because the inside is going to be underneath the metal. Okay, that's a very good setup. Now, bring the arms down again. Okay, don't be afraid of flexing the tire because tires are made of rubber, supposed to be flexed. And this is a good setup. You can go a little lower because it helps you to mount the tire. Don't rush, no need to rush on the first few times when you use the machine. And still, if you notice, on this side, it's still not right because this edge is not catching on the lip. So bring it up. Oops, I did too far again. Okay, now is the perfect one because this side is underneath the big tongue. This edge is above the lip. And everything's in a good setup. Now, press the button. It just popped. And don't worry, this arm is hitting here because it's going to be self-swiveling. The tire is mounted, hasn't been sealed yet, but it's done its job. Now, when you bring it up, make sure this thing's not going to be catching the arm because you're going to be hurting the machine by doing that. Bring this thing a little bit. Almost catching it. Push this arm back in. Back out because we don't need it anymore. Swing this out a bit, out of my way. Okay, bring it out of my way. Now's the time to pop it or seal it. And because I'm done, if you're doing a whole set, you just bring this arm tilted backwards because you're gonna need this setup for the next 3 tires. If you're only doing one or you're already on the 4th wheel, you don't need to use the setting of where the location of this arm is. Then you can just reset it, release it by pop it out, Okay, push all the way to the end. Lock it. Here you go. Now comes time to pop the beads. Get that thing connected. So the far left switch, you can hear that it's blowing air. And if you press it all the way down, air is going to be blowing from the very bottom to help you to seal as well. But when you do that, you need to try to lift the whole tire up. Well, this one is not willing to do that. I'll give it a try. So listen to the difference. Oops, I made it already. Because did you hear the difference? When you press all the way down, it's going to have air blowing towards the inside, towards the lip in this way, help you to seal the bottom edge. But this one is very easy to seal because that's a high profile tire. I mean the normal tire. If on those very tiny low profile tires, it would be very helpful. And remember, for the normal tires, easy to get sealed at the 40 psi. So you just keep pumping until this needle goes up to the 40 psi. However, if you're doing a low profile tire, it's gonna need like more than that. Usually 60 psi, even 80 psi. It's okay. How come I don't hear the bang? It should be 2 bands coming out, but it's already made it when I first popped it. 1 band usually is for the bottom, and then you see a dip on the top because the top part of the rim, the beads are now sealed. Then you need to stay away from that area, because if it's an aluminum wheel, if it's internally cracked, when that thing seals, if the force popping up could break that piece of aluminum. It could hurt you very bad. So what's my pressure right now? Could have used a little more. You have to let go with the trigger to see what's the pressure. When you're holding this down, it doesn't reflect what the real pressure is. And another thing is this machine only go up to 60 or 65 psi. So if you're doing a set of LT tires, you need to go up to 80 psi. You would not go to the pressure needed. You just seal it, seal the beads, and take the tire to the car, mount it, and then using a handheld chuck to fill up the tire all the way to the pressure needed. Okay, so now the last step is to put your valve back in. Where's my valve here? Here's my valve. Here's my tool. I used to have 2 pens here, but I guess somebody grabbed it. Okay. I'm sure you know how to do that already, like the same way you put it out. You take it out, same way you put it in. Set it up on this end, and be quick. And it's even harder for me to do by one hand. Okay, I got it in. It was still leaking, but if I keep turning it, stop leaking already. Don't need to go super tight, because I said someone said it's only need like 2 inch-pound of a torque. So give a little hand tight. That's good enough. If we have extra like a valve caps in here, I don't see any right here. We usually keep, if any like extra ones, we keep them inside of here. We'll just put it on top there to give it to the customer for free. But this one, it doesn't came with it from the beginning, and we don't have an extra. Sorry. Now this one's done. Time to balance it. Let go with the boss. Yeah, just retract, or shrink in all those arms, so those claws are grabbing the bottom. So bring them back inwards. You release the tire. Here we go. This tire is mounted, waiting to be balanced. And you can watch the other video of how to balance the tire. All right, thanks for watching.